GP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Times of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. The high 78. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, down to 64. And then clouds breaking for some sun tomorrow. A couple of showers around, high 77. Breezy and very warm Tuesday up to 83. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition. And brought to you by Leon's Billiards and More.
Here he is, Coach Barkley, joining us again. Seneca Valley, of course, is his home school, and he is the coach there, former NFL ball player as well. Joins us for a couple of more Sundays as we get ready for the draft, week and a half away. Greg Dyler's Metropolitan Window video screen. You can click on KDKRadio.com and KDK Watch. So I did this thing myself last week because you were busy with a family, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to start. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Donnie, how's the golf game? Are you there?
You got me?
Yeah, we got you now. We got you. Go ahead.
All right. No, I appreciate you asking. I need to get out more. I've been out one time so far with some of the coaches from the staff, and probably got this little sunburn from these baseball games. And if not baseball, I'm at football practice. So I feel like I'm in a field no matter what in some capacity.
Well, we got to get you back out on the golf course because we had a couple of good rounds together, and I think I still owe you on the one Nassau I might have lost to you.
We got to get out there, man. That was a good time.
Good. Hey, so, just kind of getting ready for what's going on in the NFL. You're getting down now to, rug cutting time. We got about a week and a half before it's going. We talked a couple of weeks ago about, your preparation for, getting ready for the draft and what your observances were. How nervous were you in your, personal history when you got to within a couple of weeks of the draft?
You know what? I felt good at the time from a personal standpoint as far as like the amount of work I put in. I felt like I couldn't get better training. I was around the right guys that were trying to have the same goal and longevity as a career and just to, position themselves to go to camp in the right way. So I felt good from that standpoint. The thing that messes with you is you just don't know which team, which club really loves you. And all it takes is one team to say, yes, we want to take you. Going into it, I knew I was either a late round pick or a free agent, so I didn't have super high expectations. But if I would have put my shoes in some of these kids' lives that are maybe like a second day to an early third day, it could be really devastating when you see your name drop and drop and drop, and then it's like fifth round, you're panicking. Yeah. I kind of went in there as like fifth round was like maybe my ceiling, as far as how high I could maybe get picked. So, I know like the horror stories. Like I hate when people talk about like the Geno Smith days at the first round. Like that's so devastating. Like I feel for those guys because they're so. They go into it probably with high hopes. And, at the end of the day, one team loves you. Doesn't matter what round you are.
Yeah, hey, Donnie, let me tell you something. As an agent, there is nothing worse than that situation where a guy where you see Mel Kiper's next best available athlete or next best available, and a guy sits there for 2 or 3 rounds, and then the family starts to call the agent and saying, "What's going on? Why are we not being drafted yet?" And it's there's nothing you can do at that point. I mean, it's either the player's going to go or he's not, and there's not a lot of magic that you can put on it. So that's the worst case scenario as an agent is like, what do I say now at this point? Because you know that the kid's going to eventually get drafted, and then all the pressure comes off once the player's drafted. It's just getting to that point that really is difficult.
You're right. And I think one of the most like interesting pieces that like you even put in front of me leading up to the draft and all that is like, I saw this paper slide across from the table for me, and it was like, this is how many tackles on average go a year. This is how many guards go on average a year. Oh, this is how many centers. So you're like watching the draft and see it go along, and you're like, all right, well, that was 15 tackles on average. There might only be about 6 more taken. There's like 10 guards taken. It's the 5th round. oh crap, there's like 4 more maybe that are going to get picked. So that's where it kind of played a mind game with me at the end.
And it's funny, Donnie, that the positions, you tend to get a run on position. So when that's the case, and there may be that many teams that need a guard, and once one of those guards go, it's all of a sudden, we got to grab guards now. So that's why it's not uncommon to see 4 or 5 run of 4 or 5 players at a particular position go quickly, because everybody's like, well, that's the one that we got to get taken care of at this particular point in the draft.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I loved when guys got ripped off. Like when I say ripped off, I mean, I loved when they had 10 or, so tackles or guards taken within the first so many rounds, because that got a better chance for late round picks to get taken. Yep. So it's nice when you see 3 tackles or 3 guards get taken in 5 picks. Yeah,
when you're representing a player in a particular position, that's one of those things that you really, as an agent, you're looking at and you're saying, get all of those guys in that position taken, as many as you can, because the more guys that go, even if it's not your guy that's getting picked, there's less guys in his way at that point to ultimately get picked. So that's actually a good thing.
Correct. Yeah, it's such an interesting, crazy day. I'm excited. I got invited down the last day. They picked a couple kids from a high school, and as a coaching staff, we chose a player that was a senior this past year. So I'm going to head down with him this Saturday, the 3rd day.
Nice. Right, let me jump in here real quick. So the game has obviously evolved. It's a passing game, and you're a big left tackle or the center. You're getting the bag. But I grew up during the Lombardi sweep and obviously the trap blocking of Chuck Noll. So right now, with the running game becoming fashionable again, and this Jeremiah Love, everybody's talking about coming out of Notre Dame and what Saquon has done, has the guard position become a little bit more important now in recent years? And is that something we should be looking at as far as the 21st pick with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll be the first pick by the Steelers, but I will say this. With the amount of passing and just how athletic these linemen have to be in today's game, guards are so valuable, and I think people underestimate how valuable they are to these offenses. I mean, they kind of act like a tackle in a sense. I mean, you're facing these superior pass rushers, and you might not pull as much in today's schemes as you did back in the day. I mean, there's definitely pulling plays that you might not pull 15 times, you might pull 5 times. But the amount of pressure that these guards have on them to be stout but athletic in the same time, there's a certain body type almost, if you will, that they're looking for. And it all comes down to athletic ability. And it's pretty elite right now. These guards are different than they were 30 years ago.
Donnie, give me a break. Nobody wants to watch a guard get picked in the draft. We want to see something flashy. We want to see somebody's going to score touchdowns for us, brother.
Remember what Alan Faneca did coming out of LSU. Go ahead.
Yes, and I don't think they'd take a guard. If anything, I could see a tackle for sure. But people underestimate how important these guards are. I mean, I'm telling you, they're vital. I mean, and I feel like this Steeler Nation is kind of, they've been blessed with these athletic linemen. You look at the Castro, look at Faneca, you look at some of these inside guys that, were really good players, and they act like it's just you could find those guys out of nowhere.
Well, not only that, but you talk about a guy from your alma mater that's the anchor of their offensive line right now, and I think that Frazier is actually rounding into one of those guys that's going to be in a team that has had a position or a history of centers being long in the tooth and playing forever and being really good at it. I think they've got the right one there. This kid's really something special.
All right, let me ask both of you this real quick, then we'll take a break and one more segment with Coach Barkley. Can't thank him enough, Seneca Valley coach, this week and next to wrap up our draft coverage. I know, hard to believe that Thursday night it gets underway. But now there's talk about like Nussmeier, obviously LSU, that he may be looking for a quarterback. What's going on with this Rodgers, no Rodgers, but could they actually take a quarterback?
Smoke screens, Rob, smoke screens. Nobody wants anybody to know.
I hope so.
Nobody wants anybody else to know what they're thinking.
But could you see that even a possibility if someone like a Beck or whatever is there and they got an opportunity?
In the first round?
No.
Well, I mean, Kevin Colbert's theory was always that every year you draft a quarterback. Not in the first round necessarily, but that you draft a quarterback and bring him in every year. So, there was a rumor this week, I don't know if you guys saw it, that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back in town. He's going to sign, and he's going to be in town, and he's going to announce the Steelers' first pick in the draft. Now, that was a rumor. I don't know if that's likely to happen. Don, did you talk to your old buddy? You got any scoop for us?
You know what? I haven't talked to him or spoke with him this offseason. Shared some texts during camp and the season last year. It's such like a vital time at this time. And you know how it is, Greg. Like these off seasons are everything for these players. It's a time for them to just kind of erase their mind, reset, get their training in, spend some family time. But at the same time, now is where people head back to their teams, their ball clubs, and you kind of start getting acclimated and you dive in. Ultimately, the draft's coming up. You got to see who they're looking to replace you with. But if I had money to put on it, I'd say Aaron's coming back. I don't think he's done. I think that he did enough last year where he showed himself that, he still has some in the tank. He's still competitive. He can compete at a level that he wants to do and he's happy with. So that's just my take on it. But I will say this, and I know Rob and I spoke about this last week. As you mentioned, Greg, that center that the Steelers have, very lucky. Those guys, like I said, they don't come around. Very lucky. That guy's a hell of a player. And I said this last week, even a better person. That means the world.
Well, let me just say this. I don't care what Aaron Rodgers says, and I'm a big fan, and I think he could do anything in the entertainment world. He could even act. I mean, the guy's a matinee idol. But he loves football. He loves X and O's. He loves training camp. If I were Mike McCarthy, I'd say, look, you come back. Next year, you're the offensive coordinator with his football team. You get to hang around football, and I get out of here in a couple of years, and you're the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he would make a great football coach in the National Football League. He knows how to handle the press. He's got that coach speak 101 down, but the guy flat out knows football. You get a chance to respond, then we'll go to break. Coach.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
I think it's hard. I mean, you some guys that have had so much success like Aaron, I don't know how many of these guys do coach. I mean, I'm not saying it's out of the cards or anything, but I think there's such a competition level and there's different goals for them. And I think it's hard to put themselves in that position. That's why very few at his level do it. But I know what you mean. He's super competitive. He's the ultimate competitor. I've never been around a guy that is more competitive than him and wants to win. And it's almost like saying, why didn't Brady go coach? It's sometime they just know that at the level that they want to do things isn't met. It's like, I'm done. And like I said, I don't think he's there yet. I think he has some more gas in the tank. So I think he will come back, but you just never know. I mean, it comes down to mentally. These past couple months, they sit down and they review all this, and is it going to be another go or not?
Interesting. One more with the coach. And by the way, you should have never taken those pictures of Vrabel. Now you see what he's in this mess he's in right now. I told you don't.
We got to talk about that next.
I said don't take those pictures, Greg. He wanted to publish them. I had nothing to do with it. We'll take a break. I'm just kidding, folks. We'll be right back.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Draft weekend is coming to Pittsburgh. Kick it off at Nova Place. Join them Thursday, April 23rd from noon to 6 for a free, family-friendly afternoon with live music, DJs, games, food trucks, and local vendors. Park at the Nova Place Garage, just steps from the draft footprint. Test your skills in the mini combine, grab a drink at Federal Galley, and get ready for an unforgettable football weekend. Happy home improvement season from Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union. Home equity loan rates are as low as 5.25%. For full terms and to see if you qualify, visit AllegiantFCU.org. Membership eligibility required. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint chipping railings. Get your railings safe again. Call 412-515-6575.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, back with Coach Barkley. I'm excited. I know Greg thinks it's a little overdone, but I think this is a great night for Pittsburgh. Obviously going to be on the national, international stage, and if we can get some more businesses in here and get some of those names up on those buildings in downtown Pittsburgh, it'll be a good thing for everyone. But it's going to be nice. Looking forward to when Roger Goodell steps up. And by the way, Mendoza's not going to be here. And listen, here's the deal. His mom's got MS, and she can't travel, so more power to the kid. I totally get it. Stay with your mom, embrace it. You only got one mom. No one will ever love you like your mom. And I still talk to my mother, and she's been gone 25 years. The only problem, she doesn't answer anymore. Anyway, so jump in here. Let's talk about this coach, Coach Vrabel. And I heard that Mr. Kraft's not real happy about it. I got to bring it up. But you know what? Whatever's going on, is it really any of our business, and do we care?
No, but it's...
You're an attorney now.
People like to pile onto that thing. It's people make jokes about it, and it's sad because there's people's personal lives involved. But when you get into that position as a head coach and as a reporter that used to be on ESPN, now working for The Athletic, your life is an open book. And when you make a mistake or you cross the line, that's part of the cost of celebrity. And now they're going to be the butt of jokes, no pun intended.
Well, you two have your communion money. Not all of us have done everything on the straight and narrow path. So all I do is I'm glad that I'm old and that there wasn't the internet when I was a young guy. I mean, honestly, you can't get away.
You got to remember now, in Donnie's life, Bria is the brains and the brawn of the entire organization. She is one of the best football wives I've ever been around, and just a great lady. So Donnie outkicked his coverage tremendously.
See, right away, the attorney siding with the wife. He's thinking
she keeps his house. She keeps his house under control. She just points us in the direction and makes sure we're.
Listen,
and I'll tell you one thing, Donnie. You ever get caught in a swimming pool with some reporter like Vrabel did, I'm taking Bria's side, so you just better be ready for that.
Now, listen, all I know is that Bria's his wife.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured. But anyway, all I know is I hope somehow, some way, this whole situation gets better, because I hate to see stuff like that happen. But it is what it is, and she can always now get a job with TMZ. Did they break this? Who broke that?
I would assume it was TMZ. They tend to be the ones with all of that stuff. And it started out more as a rumor than anything else, and then the pictures followed. So
notice how you mentioned his wife and he disappeared, fell off camera. She probably pulled the plug on the show.
Tell Greg to stop talking about him.
She probably pulled the plug. Okay, if he comes back, fine. If not, we'll regroup with him next week. So can Broderick Jones, you think, secure this left tackle position?
If he's healthy, he's the right answer for that position. I thought he was starting to round into being what we anticipated him to be when they made that first-round pick of him. And the Steelers kind of got a break. The Steelers Donnie, we're talking a little bit about Broderick Jones right now, and the fact that we thought, or I thought, that he was rounding himself into position to live up to the advanced billing as far as being that first-round pick that he was. But then the injury happened, and to a certain extent, the Steelers kind of got a financial break for that, because then they didn't exercise the option and don't have to pay him the $13 million or whatever that number is that would have had to be guaranteed to him. So the Steelers got a little bit of a break if he's able to come back from the injury situation.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I apologize about that earlier, Greg. She was actually calling and kicked me off the call whenever that happened. She's going to get reprimanded for that.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I ultimately think I think it's a smart move, but I think with that move, you kind of got to make another move. And I think essentially they need to draft someone high. I think there needs to be a healthy competition at that position. And ultimately it's going to hopefully raise Broderick's play. And say Broderick does raise his play, and hopefully whoever they do take could help at another spot potentially until they get that opportunity to play tackle. You need so much depth, and I look for Broderick to up that level of play. But at the same breath, they got some. I wouldn't say a question at guard, but guys need to really earn their stripes at these positions. So I think it's going to be healthy either way.
Especially, and as you know, because you made your bones at this, having some position flexibility, especially as a younger player, no matter how highly you're drafted, you got to come in and be willing to be, somewhat of an open textbook to get every position on the offensive line that you can.
Oh my God! I mean, I try to stay up on all this stuff, and obviously we, as much as I can on this draft. I mean, it's like, if they do take a tackle, that guy's got to be ready to play tackle or guard. Right. And they got to help in any capacity. I mean, like we talked about earlier, Rob, these guards are starting to turn out like tackle bodies. The more athletic you are and the better you could pass pro, they're going to utilize that because the game's changing. So, it could be best suited that they take a tackle and maybe slide him down in. Or if he wins the spot at tackle, they go that route.
Wasn't Fatano a guard when he came in here, or no?
No.
It was always a tackle. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
Donnie, one of the things that has fascinated me about the changing offenses now is you have these RPOs where am I correct that in the huddle, players, the offensive line is coming to the line of scrimmage thinking that a play is a run and a quarterback can option out of that, and that's why we're getting a lot more of those illegal man downfield type situations happening?
Correct. Yeah. So the quarterback's calling a run in the huddle or at the line of scrimmage. Linemen are blocking the run 110% of the way, but the quarterback, based upon the front, based upon the look, could throw that pass. But that's the whole thing of the play. The pass needs to be done immediately so he doesn't let these linemen get outside that box.
Good stuff. Hey, Coach.
See, I learn something new every day. I'm glad we get Donnie on here. I would have gone through the whole season.
Go ahead, Coach.
Rodgers had a couple of touchdowns this past year down near the goal line. I mean, you see the guys just coming off the ball. They're anticipating the handoff. And, he hits these receivers on a slant route for a 3-yard touchdown pass instead of a 3-yard touchdown run. I mean, obviously, he's kind of the king at that whole thing with the RPO. I can't tell you how many times, he's calling run plays. You think you made a great block. The crowd's cheering. You think the running back's coming up from behind you. Then all of a sudden, I look over and Jordy Nelson's running for 70 yards for a touchdown. It's like, but that's the nature of the beast. So it's awesome.
Good stuff. All right, let's get a break in here, then we'll come back. Hey, listen, Coach, always a pleasure. Enjoy your day, okay?
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me again.
See you, bud.
See, these guys are just so solid at this Q&A stuff. And, man, you're just amazing their knowledge of the game because they did it for so long. All right, short break. We'll come back. Ted Arnaud to take us home. 1 o'clock. We got 2 more segments. Coons Market, Black and Gold Sunday Show.
What do you do when the power goes out for an hour, a day, a week? How long can you go without light, heat, your refrigerator? How long before pipes burst, food goes bad? With a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter of Pittsburgh, when your power is out, your Generac is on. It's that simple. Generator Supercenter of Pittsburgh always has generators in stock and technicians that can install and maintain them. Visit GeneratorSupercenterofPittsburgh.com to get started.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
It's the KDKA Radio Super 7, powered by Bowser Chevrolet. And now through Sunday, we're set to honor the best boys and girls in the WPIAL and Pittsburgh City League. Vote early, vote often. Let your voice be heard at KDKARadio.com. High school basketball lives on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
It is 70 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Crews were called to a fire overnight in Baldwin. That structure fire happened in the 400 block of Gray Street around 2 this morning. No injuries were reported. Pittsburgh police detective recovering after he was bitten by a dog during a chase. In response, another officer shot and killed the dog. And then officers chased down the man they were looking for and took him into custody. The entire incident happened around 3:45 Saturday afternoon in Knoxville, the 100 block. A man with outstanding warrants on Knox Avenue fled into a building. Officers chased after him, but a dog escaped from the building and bit the detective. The detective suffered multiple puncture wounds and was transported to the hospital in stable condition. The man with the warrant is now in the Allegheny County Jail. KDKA Radio News Time is 12:31. Next update's at 1. I'm Rob Taylor on the voice of Pittsburgh News Radio KDKA.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Don't delay in getting that plumbing repair done. Call Palucci Plumbing today for all of your plumbing needs. From trenchless sewer repair and waterline repairs and replacement, hot water tanks, sewer camera inspections, to Pittsburgh potty repairs, no job is too small for Palucci Plumbing. Owners Amy and Nick Palucci have been in business for 26 years, so give them a call for your next plumbing repair or replacement. Palucci Plumbing, 412-782-5050. That's 412-782-5050.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
New to Medicare, get covered with MediConnect. Listen Wednesdays around 1:40 to hear Lance O'Brien of MediConnect help you navigate the Medicare process. Simply great, unbiased information to get you the best healthcare coverage. Get covered with MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly sunny, warmer this afternoon into the upper 70s. Partly to mostly cloudy, breezy tonight, the low 64. A couple of showers around tomorrow. Clouds break for some sun, high 77. And very warm Tuesday and afternoon, storm up to 83. For AccuWeather, I'm John Feerick, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, here we go. Be back on Monday. Hope you're enjoying the weekend. We'll talk to you Monday, 2 to 6, right here, KDKA.
All right, Ted Arnaud is back with us, and it's great to talk to Teddy. So, Teddy, you're going to appreciate this. Tomorrow night, I have Joey DeSalvo on from DeSalvo Station at 8 o'clock to talk about the places that you must eat if you're going to the National Football League draft. And I saw the Post-Gazette had one of their choices, our buddy Nicky Giannopoulos. So that is a good thing, is it not?
It's a great thing. He serves a great breakfast, great lunch. So you get the parts of Pittsburgh that you probably wouldn't normally see as part of the draft. I think it's a great deal for him.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Now, the other thing, and I had a chance to watch bits and pieces of it because it's been a busy weekend. Did Christy Martin ever fight at Mountaineer?
No, she didn't fight at Mountaineer. We talked with her. If you remember, we had Layla Ali, who was eventually her last big fight. But no, she was a West Virginia girl. By the time we were going with our fights, she had already hooked up with some of the bigger names in the business. We couldn't afford it.
well, let me just jump in here. Do you know about this woman, this incredibly talented fighter? Do you know about her, Greg?
I do. I was just thinking, you imagine going to a bar some night and you're sitting down next to her and saying something stupid and you get knocked right out.
But listen, what really intrigued me about her years ago was she was from West Virginia. Sydney Sweeney portrayed her in this biopic, and I highly recommend it, but it's not for the faint of heart. Obviously, her husband at the time was abusing her, ended up shooting her. She came back. She did get into the ring. She grew up in poverty, but got an opportunity to box and won a tough woman contest. And as they say, the rest is history. But she signed with Don King. And Don King, like him or not,
only in America,
was tough. And Teddy, I got to tell you, if Don King was anything like they portrayed him when it came to, you don't need a lawyer to look at the contract. You either sign it now before you leave the office or you'll have no contract. But he was paying some of those fighters like her like $5,000 a fight. Now, look, she was making $500 in some club fights, which were being like held at the local VFW, the Legion, what have you. But was that the going rate back then? I always thought I know some of the money you were handing out of Mountaineer was much better than that for women and for the men. And Layla Ali, of course, Muhammad's daughter, who actually knocked her out and took the title from her, was one of the greatest and still of all times. And Clarissa Shields, they're trying to get her out of retirement to fight Layla, which is not going to happen. She was actually on the Netflix coverage last night of the Tyson Fury fight. But talk to me about the negotiations, and is this simply why boxing is such a bad name?
Well, it's part of it. There's a lot of the guys who fight on the cards, the undercard, would make $500, and some of them even a little bit less. But Chrissy Martin, until she got really well known, she was just basically a club fighter. And then the women's boxing phenomenon took hold, and she led the charge. And I don't know if you remember meeting Layla when she was at Mountaineer, but
I didn't meet her.
She was a really spectacular person, just. And her mom, who was Muhammad's second wife, showed up for the fight. Muhammad didn't come himself, but we met him at a later time, not for her fight. But she was a big girl. And Chrissy Martin was not that big. She was 140, 145, I think, at most of her fighting weight. But yeah, a lot of the undercard fighters didn't make very much money.
Well, one of the things you guys have to keep in mind is when even the big fight monies, the handlers and the managers and everybody that gets a little chunk of those things, and boxing promoters and managers, the managers generally can get like 50% of the purse because they've invested so much money in the fighter in the first place. I don't know that you can ever justify 50% of the purse, but a lot of that money that goes into these guys having their training camps, and you remember who was it that fought, trained in Easton, Pennsylvania? Was it Larry Holmes?
Yeah, Larry Holmes.
They would set up these camps that would probably cost them, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even though they would make a few $1 million in the fight, all of that background and material and all that stuff. So even though the fighter might sign for a $3 million purse, he ain't necessarily getting $3 million.
Well, let me explain. And Don King did a lot of good for the sport. Make no mistake about it. He brought it into another modern era. Didn't have a lot of good relationships, and some people will argue what I just said was even close to being a fact. But he did some good things. But one thing Larry Holmes did, he got as far away from Don King as he could. Larry Holmes has his piggy bank full of money because what Larry Holmes did, he lived within his means. He stayed in Easton, Pennsylvania, and the thing that he did, he bought as much real estate as he could buy. So Larry Holmes is aging for sure, but he is one of the very few, and they've all gone broke.
Teddy, that's no fun. Few. You got to be like Mike Tyson and have tigers living with you in the apartments and things like that.
Absolutely, and then become a movie star. That's what
you know what though? Tyson has turned out. He sadly lost his daughter to a tragic accident, but he's married, happy, children, financially set. He's got a daughter who's coming up in the world of tennis. So Mike Tyson is doing A-OK. All right, now let's get to the business of the draft. Some names that they've been throwing out as far as possible people who will be coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to get to some of those names right now if I can. Alabama's Caden Proctor, frequently mocked prospect who could challenge for a guard or tackle position. Florida's Caleb Banks is viewed as a high upside pass rusher who could eventually step into Hayward's role. Other key defensive interior names include Derek Harmon, we talk about Kenneth Grant, and Walter Nolan, all of whom are critical pieces for the future, possibly in a facelift, if you will, to stop the run. Why would you be thinking about an edge rusher possibly, or is this just fodder and good conversation and it makes for good print? Would the Steelers consider a edge rusher if there was someone like Caleb Banks out there, Greg?
I don't think that guy watched any Steelers games last year because you got 4 edge rushers on the roster right now, all of whom are pretty good. So I'm not sure, and I hate to cast aspersions on someone, but that doesn't seem to be a very well-researched idea.
Go ahead, Teddy.
Well, you're going to see quite a bit of trading going on, too. And just because you have 4 on your roster right now doesn't mean all 4 of them are going to be there after the end of the trading deadline and everything with the draft. So it'll be interesting. But, yeah, they have 4 good ones, but they may not be there.
Well, here's the thing, and I said this, I did a little blog the other day, did a lot of work social media on Thursday and Friday. They got to sign Nick Herbig. And, I didn't realize that Alex Highsmith is 29. I thought he was like 27, 26, 29. And TJ, I'm thinking 30. He's now 31. So do you possibly trade away to make a little extra room and sign Nick Herbig? Because he's even kind of said, let's get her done. And I know you have me under contract, but he may be looking to move on. Not going to happen this year, but I would do just about anything I could. And we hit it on this a little bit last week. And you weren't here, and neither was Ted. You got to keep Nick Herbig on this football team, Greg.
Nah, we talked about it. I told you Connor Griffin was crazy to sign what he signed. Herbig would be nuts to sign anything with the Steelers right now because they're going to try to get him on the cheap to keep him around, but he'd be crazy. He needs to hit free agency and go for the big money.
And he could get the big money now.
I believe he could.
All right, Go ahead, Teddy.
No, I agree completely. I just think there's going to be a lot of moving parts, and we don't know how this is all going to settle down because you got a different coach, and I think you've got a general manager who's got a lot of experience with these guys now and probably has a different mindset. So it's going to be very interesting.
I think it's pretty cool. You mentioned Omar Khan, the general manager, and him putting his stamp on the organization and on this team, and he's seemingly done a pretty nice job. If he can get that one piece in the offense to go, I think this team can be a force to be reckoned with in that AFC North.
So is Mason McCormick still on this team?
I believe so.
Okay, so Why do I think that there's something to be very happy about having him on this team? You never know. I thought I may have missed it, but I'm glad he's still there.
Yeah, I may have to double check that now that you say that, because it seems like that left guard position is something that's up in the air, but I thought Mason was plugging in at the right.
All right, Teddy, what about this line? We talked about building it from the outside in or inside out. How do you build an offensive line?
Well, you've got the pivot point with the center. I think this left tackle is going to be a big decision, and I agree with Greg. I think left guard is going to be something you've got to look at. But to me, you've got the basics there, and if you can just increase the play ability of the left tackle, you're going to be in good shape.
Mason McCormick is still on the roster.
Thank goodness.
He looked. I thought he was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. Another Marathon Sunday for your Pratt Pack. We're here beginning at 6 until 10 the next couple of nights. We're going to be talking about a number of things that are making news concerning the war in Iraq and, of course, getting ready for the NFL draft. But in the meantime, a little more NFL news and notes. Ted Arnaud, Greg Dallas, Coons Market, Black and Gold Sunday Show, KDKA.
We're only 11 days until the draft. Everything you need to know surrounding the draft is right here. It's brought to you by Bill Few Associates Wealth Management, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
My friends at NASCO Roofing take pride in exceeding customer expectations. Stephanie from Murraysville used NASCO for minor roof repairs. When a storm created substantial roof damage, she called NASCO. NASCO worked with Stephanie's insurance company and installed a beautiful brand new roof. NASCO has satisfied thousands like Stephanie. Get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO Roofing, 412-373-2000, 412-373-2000. Most jobs done in a day. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing. NASCO.
Why deal with crowded hotels and packed pools when you can have the whole place to yourself? At SWAC Vacation Rentals, some homes come with private lazy rivers, indoor pools, massive game rooms, and outdoor kitchens built for the whole crew. These aren't hotel rooms, they're private vacation playgrounds, managed by us, cared for by us, and ready when you arrive. And when you book direct, you keep more of your vacation budget where it belongs, with you. Find your unforgettable stay at SWAC. SWACK Vacations.com. That's SWACVacations.com.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Draft weekend is coming to Pittsburgh. Kick it off at Nova Place. Join them Thursday, April 23rd from noon to 6 for a free, family-friendly afternoon with live music, DJs, games, food trucks, and local vendors. Park at the Nova Place Garage, just steps from the draft footprint. Test your skills in the mini combine, grab a drink at Federal Galley, and get ready for an unforgettable football weekend. Happy home improvement season from Allegiant Community Federal Credit Union. Home equity loan rates are as low as 5.25%. For full terms and to see if you qualify, visit AllegiantFCU.org. Membership eligibility required. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA. Schley Deck and Fence Company. Call today for an estimate on your rotten, rusted, paint chipping railings. Get your railings safe again. Call 412-515-6575.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use it.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, one more segment with Ted Arnaud. Greg, you begin.
Hey, Ted, so now that we're, down to the last short strokes with regard to the draft and what we're looking for, is there anybody from your old alma maters or your favorites, University of Michigan, that you're really looking forward to seeing get selected?
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of guys from Michigan, defensive players, but if you look at the draft boards and the draft analysis, which I'm sure we all do, a lot of people from Ohio State, a lot of players from Ohio State are on that board. So it's going to be very interesting to look at and see where those guys go.
Yeah,
Michigan, they might have a couple, but Ohio State seems to be the team this year.
I'm sure Michigan will reload with what they did through the transfer portal and things of that nature. I know they lost the one linebacker, Pittsburgh kid Cole Sullivan, left Michigan and I think went to Oklahoma State. But they will reload. Looking at the one defensive back from Ohio State, the safety, I think it's Downs, if I'm not mistaken, could be a guy that we could be looking at in the Steelers, because it seems like the Steelers secondary might be a spot of focus, even though it hasn't been all that much talked about.
I agree. I think, I think the safety position might need a little bit of support, but I think there's going to be some very interesting players coming out of Ohio State, even though it hurts me to say that.
Surprised you didn't say
they had a good team. They had a good team this year.
But surprised you didn't just say that team from south of Michigan.
But the biggest story.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go, Teddy. Go.
Well, you were going to talk about the biggest story. To me, the biggest story for the NFL that came out this week were the hearings in Congress about all of the stuff that we all talked about.
I saw that
10 years ago, as far as the streaming of play and the fact that a lot of these games in the future are going to be streamed. You got to pay for them. I thought that was one of the most interesting topics this week.
Well,
a little bit of government overreaching there, even though I despise that streaming thing.
But the NFL's response was 83% of our games are free.
Yeah.
To
the home team.
Yeah. I know. Hey, but the other story out of Michigan is that basketball team and their coach May, who never played basketball, started as a manager with Bobby Knight at Indiana. That's a big story as far as what they did on the basketball court, Teddy.
Yeah, they were a gritty team, and UConn was a tough team too. I mean, they duked it out. That looked more like a heavyweight fight than a basketball game at times. I mean, they were really going for it.
Speaking of heavyweight fights, maybe not a heavyweight fight, but I'd like to see somebody unleash Dawn Staley on Gino Auriemma and whoop him up a little bit after that halftime or end of game little confrontation there. She said, "I will beat your rear end." I was like, "Holy
Listen,
smokes."
my money's on her.
I hear you.
Yeah, I definitely book her right now.
But here's the thing. People got to face reality. Cable television is changing. Everything's changing. I know people now that do nothing but get the streaming services. They've basically gotten away from traditional cable. My own children do not have cable in their household. And they basically iPad, phones, everything. But they do get like Peacock and, Paramount Plus. I mean, this is just the wave of the future. And not to really point the finger, but maybe they're just seeing an opportunity. And, Ted, any business, and the NFL's a business, if you don't evolve, you're going to get left behind.
Well, and even the streaming services are going to have to evolve. It's all over. I mean, you look at the gaming market now with these other betting platforms like Kalshi. They've all had to evolve, and even the streaming services down the road will have to evolve.
I take exception, Teddy. Kalshi is not a betting site. It's an investment site, isn't it?
No. Whatever.
Yeah.
Some say the stock market is a betting site too.
Good point.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, so how busy will the Rivers Casino be during the draft, Teddy?
Oh, it'll be jammed. It'll be jammed. There'll be people having fun. The rivers will be jammed. They're all going to be having a pretty good amount of play, and all the restaurants are going to get huge influx of business. It's a great economic event.
Is that is the draft something that they can bet on at the casino? I know that Kalshi will let you bet on or invest in things there, but I don't think that's something that in Pennsylvania they'll let you get live bet.
No, they won't let you live bet at this point. And it, I don't want to get into all the ins and outs of Kalshi and the other stuff because that's all going to work its way through the courts and everything too. These states have not even totally figured out how to handle this at this point. But no, they can't do that. But there'll be prop bets that you can probably bet on.
Oh, that's right. Like what color suit a certain guy will wear. And things.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
could be some prop bets.
All that stuff would be subject to insider trading if you get a peek backstage.
Teddy, do you like? I mean, we're looking at things now to where they're even saying Lamar Jackson could be gone after this year if they can't find a way to punch through. I still think the Steelers aren't that far off from maybe duplicating what they did this year, winning the conference championship. But do you like some of the things you're hearing early on in the McCarthy era?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think. They've got some key missing pieces, but I think by the end of all the trades and the draft and everything, you're going to see a really good team.
Last one. Go ahead, Greg.
No, you threw me off with that winning the conference championship. I was trying to come up with an analogy for how bad the conference was last year. Like winning the conference championship wasn't that big of a task or feat, but it will be crazy interesting to see as what are the odds going to be for the AFC North when you got with Burrow coming back and you got Jackson. It's almost like and without Rodgers. I wonder if you could get a bet in on the Steelers now and how much that would change if Rodgers were to come back.
You probably get a good bet right now.
Yeah.
And but do you want to do that? That's the key. Because without Rodgers, that's such an unknown at this point. Now there's talk about Mac Jones maybe on the trading block and trying to get him. And there's a couple of key components out there that they need. But if they get them, I think, like you said, the AFC North was not the strongest group last year, but they're going to be good this year.
All right, Teddy. Listen, always a pleasure, buddy. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah, man, that draft is fast approaching. Counselor, always a pleasure. How are you going to spend your day today?
Oh, we go get Dad, watch the Buccos starting at 2:25, watch the Masters for a little bit, and then we got some stuffed pork chops on the menu today.
Isn't it amazing, though, just the feel that the Pirates have given the city early on?
Yeah, one of our favorite callers, Mark from Dormont, he's so nervous now that the Pirates are good. He's like, I need a day off when the Pirates don't play because I get too nervous watching the games.
Man, I got to tell you, just the sky's the limit. O'Neal Cruz, what he could do, the way that ball just jumps off his bat.
He's fun to watch right now. You're not hearing anybody complain too much about him, are you?
All right, listen, stay with us. Lots more to come throughout the afternoon. Rob's going to check the news at 1. Thanks to Alonzo Anderson. Couldn't do it without him. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 6 on KDKA.
Concerned about traveling during the upcoming draft? Don't be. KDKA Radio and AAA Traffic have you covered. We'll expand our draft coverage with all-day traffic reports on your radio and your social media feeds. It's brought to you by AAA Travel. Travel with someone you trust. And by 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. I recently had two sets of customers who had vastly different stories. One had purchased elsewhere 3 years ago and spent $5,000. And the other had purchased from OMF 12 years ago and spent $1,000. The difference? Our customer's mattress lasted 4 times longer and cost them 5 times less. Don't waste money on overpriced, overhyped mattresses. Visit the Original Mattress Factory for unbeatable quality and value. Sleep better, longer, for less.
What is life-changing medicine? The discovery of cancer at the earliest possible stage, challenging limits and transforming the impossible into reality, or connecting people to doctors and specialists when they need it most. At UPMC, we believe life-changing medicine is all those things. Our goal is to change the world of medicine and the lives of those around us. UPMC, changing healthcare, changing lives. Life-changing medicine.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
In 1945, my grandparents made sausage using the finest ingredients and a lot of love. I'm Ernie Ritchie. After 80 years, the recipe never changed. Visit our store and celebrate our 80th anniversary. Ritchie's Italian Sausage. It's what Pittsburgh eats since 1945.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Roofing Company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 72 degrees in Pittsburgh International at 1 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Iran's Speaker of Parliament says the U.S. failed to gain the trust of the Iranian delegation during their peace talks in Pakistan. Vice President J.D. Vance says the Iranians have not accepted, quote, Washington's final offer. Here's CBS News' Imtiaz Tayeb reporting from Islamabad.
Mushahid Hussain Sayed is a member of the Pakistani Senate.
Are the talks dead, and will we see the war restart?
No, talks are not dead. There's a stalemate. But the fact is that top leadership met face to face. That's almost a miracle. And Pakistan pulled it off. So I think that says a lot. That shows that both sides are ready, able, and willing to seek a deal.
Stay with News Radio KDK for more on this developing story. Crews were called to a fire overnight in Baldwin. It happened in the 400 block of Gray Street, the structure fire. No injuries were reported. Pittsburgh police detective recovering this afternoon after being bit by a dog. It happened around 3:45 Saturday afternoon in the 100 block of Knox Avenue in Knoxville. Police were called to that location Saturday afternoon. A man with an outstanding warrant then fled into a building. Officers chased after him, but a dog escaped and bit the police detective. The detective suffered multiple puncture wounds. He was transported to the hospital in stable condition. Another officer shot and killed the dog, and then officers apprehended the man. He's currently in the Allegheny County Jail. KDK Sports, Pirates looking for the sweep of the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. And you can hear